Hey there guys, welcome to the very first Elder Scrolls Online Saturday. This is going to be like a podcast thing I do on my channel. I was uploading a lot of Elder Scrolls Online videos on my channel before, but I kind of did like 5-minute videos about like little topics. So I thought maybe instead of doing that, I'd do a podcast every Saturday and sort of tell you guys all the information about the game, all the news, and maybe even just going over stuff that's not necessarily new, but just stuff I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so that's kind of how this started, and yeah, so really it's just going to be like probably a 20 to 30 minute video, and we're just going to be talking about Elder Scrolls stuff, and yeah, so let me just tell you guys what we're going to be talking about today. So first we're going to go over the release date and all of that good stuff, where they're at in development. Then we're going to be moving on to the War of Cyrodiil trailer. We're just going to be talking about everything that was in there, even stuff you might not have noticed. We're going to analyze it pretty well. And then we're going to go into the Ask Us Anything on character progression. Then we're just going to be talking about the question of the week, and that's pretty much it. So let's just get right into it. So by far the biggest news this week was definitely the release date. A lot of people have been waiting for the release date. It kind of got moved a lot. It was supposed to come out like this fall. At first they said like the summer of 2013, and that was like way early in development. And then later they said like the fall of 2013, and then got pushed back to early 2014. But now we actually have a release date, which is April 4th, 2014, and that's just for PC and Mac, and for Xbox and PS4, Xbox One that is, it's going to be coming out June 2014. So it's just going to take a little longer if you're on console. But they're really, right now in development, they're just working on polishing the combat, they said. They said they really have the base game down, and they're really just polishing the combat, you know, making sure everything's good to go. But as terms of, like, development, it sounds like they pretty much have everything down. So, that can be good or bad. If you want to see changes, it's bad because it sounds like everything's pretty set in stone. But it's good because I heard a lot of people saying that they didn't think the game was going to be ready for the spring, but it sounds like it is. I mean, I doubt they would set a release date if they weren't confident in it, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out April 4th, which is cool. I really can't wait, and that's actually not that far away. It seems far away, but I'm sure it'll come really fast, and hopefully we'll be getting a lot of new information as the months go by and we're waiting for the game. So let's talk about the War of Cyrodiil trailer. So this and the release date were announced at the same time, and you can see that playing over and over again on your screen. And once we get past this, I'll change it to like the QuakeCon gameplay. But I just wanted you guys to like look at it while I'm talking about it, and just because I noticed a lot of little things that I'm gonna mention. So let's just get started with that. So this is one of the biggest things that has come out this week. Really awesome. It's a PvP trailer, and it's all in-game footage. And some of the footage they got is really good. It kind of looks like a cinematic trailer, but it's like it is made from all in-game footage. It's beautiful, and I think they did a really good job with it. So you can watch the trailer on the screen, but I do recommend that you watch it with the audio. So you can watch that. I'll put a link in the description to that. So let's just talk about the trailer. So like I said, it was focused on PvP. All of the trailer took place in Cyrodiil, and it was all PvP footage that we were seeing. So the first thing that I want to clarify right now, and one thing that I mistook when I first watched the trailer, is that there is still no crossbows in Elder Scrolls Online. At like 35 seconds in the trailer, you can see that they have like this guy firing a crossbow. This isn't like a weapon in the game. It's actually a skill. It's called the Silver Bolt. It's in the Fire skill line. So Silver Bolt, I'm guessing it's used to take out werewolves, or you can it probably does damage to other people, but it does extra damage to werewolves. So I was really excited for like a couple minutes until I looked it up, and they actually have a thing on their support section on Elder Scrolls Online's website that says that there's still no crossbows in the game, and it explains it. So that's kind of upsetting. I really love crossbows, and I really wish they were in the game. I guess it's just not the case. Maybe we'll see crossbows in an expansion or something, but as for when the game is releasing, there is still no crossbows. So let's talk about the siege weapons that we saw. So there were a lot of siege weapons in this trailer. It showed off the trebuchets a bunch, and it showed off the battering ram a lot at the end. And then we got some glimpses of like the catapult and other stuff, but it really focused on the trebuchets and battering ram, and they all look really cool. They all, for each alliance, they all have like different designs. So at the end, you saw the battering ram was the lion. So that is obviously the Daggerfall Covenant one. So I like how all the siege weapon is like customizable. Well, not customizable, it's customized for each alliance. That's really cool. I think it really looked cool. I liked the way the door busted in. I think they did a really good job with the siege weapons, and I'm glad they showed them off because they just look so awesome. So now let's talk about the mounts. So they actually did show off mounts a lot too in this trailer. There's a bunch of moments with mounts in it, and riding a mount in PvP just looks so exciting, and I really just can't wait to play around with the mounts in general. But using them in PvP is going to be really fun. But we got to see some of the mount animations that we haven't saw before. At one point in the trailer, the mount sort of stops abruptly and does that thing where horses sort of like rear their front legs up. And that's actually going to be in the game because, like I said, this was all in-game footage. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I don't know if you really stop abruptly, whether it'll do that. That would be my guess. Maybe if you're riding at something and you stop abruptly, but I think that's really cool, and it is an animation that's going to be in the game, so that's something that's really awesome. So now let's talk about the design of Cyrodiil. In a lot of MMOs, the PvP area just looks really bland, and it's really just about like designing like a good flowing map, a good place for lots of battles. MMOs in general don't like take the world design super seriously, but Cyrodiil looks beautiful. I mean, one thing that I was afraid they were gonna do is they were gonna repeat, keep designs like in PlanetSide 2. If you guys played that, all of like the places that you have to take over look almost completely similar, and I was afraid they were gonna do that, but Cyrodiil just looks beautiful. All the different keeps that we saw look really different. We saw like windmills, we saw everything, we saw countryside, so it really looks like they did a good job, and hopefully we'll see like familiar places from other MMOs, not from other MMOs, from other test games. Hopefully Cyrodiil just looks as beautiful as it did in Oblivion. I'm really excited to just be back in Cyrodiil. It's one of my favorite places to be in Tamriel. So now let's talk about the different kind of battles we saw. So we saw some small scale battles, like when the people were sneaking at one point in the video, and then they meet another group, and sort of this like 6v6 battle breaks out. But we also saw some large, like huge battles, like 200 on 200 at least battles, that just looked so awesome. And it really speaks to the system that they've made, that you can have like a really small fight and like an also huge fight in the same PvP setting, and that's just something that a lot of MMOs don't accomplish, and it's one thing that I know I've heard in interviews that they're really proud about, and they really should be. I mean, the fact that like you can choose whether you want to be in a huge fight or like a really small fight, and you don't even have to like choose that. Like Guild Wars, you have to choose which one you want to be in. You could be in World versus World, you could be in the smaller group thing, but you actually had to choose. You couldn't just join PvP, and the fact that we just get to be in Cyrodiil and fight the way we want to is really awesome. And again, it just speaks to how awesome this game is going to be. I know I say that a lot, but this game is just right now it's just blowing my mind how good the PvP looks. The next thing I want to talk about is the armor. So we've gotten to see in-game footage, and we've gotten to see different armors. On the website they came out with a lot of armor concept designs, but we got to see a lot of armor because there were like, sometimes there were 50 characters on screen at once, and some of the armor just looks like incredible. There was at one point where we got to see like armor made out of bone. We saw like some Dunmore armor. We got to see like just all, like there were literally too many. Like I almost saw no repeats. I mean, there were some repeats, but everyone looked different, and there is just going to be so many armors in this game, and I'm really excited. Just again, make sure you just look closely, because it took me a couple of times watching the trailer to see just some of the armors are just beautiful, and they all look really different and unique, and that's just something I'm really excited about. So now let's talk about the Ask Us Anything on progression that they came out with. So I'm just going to be going over the things that I thought was really important. You guys, I'll put a link in the description. You guys can look at the full article, but this is really the stuff that I thought was really new. They have a lot of questions. The answers are kind of obvious, so these are really the ones that I thought you guys should know. So they announced that you can respec skill lines and like where you put your health and stamina, and in order to do this you have to visit a shrine and you have to have gold. I don't really mind this. I know some people will be upset because they'd rather like the decisions be solid, like set in place, and you can't change them, just so they like kind of have more impact on you and you really have to think about your decisions. I don't mind this because, I mean, in Skyrim, I like to change playstyles. I mean, I really prefer the stealth route, but every once in a while I like to switch things up, and in order to do that you have to use mods to change your skills. So I did that, so I'm not mad that they did this, and I really think they should have done this, because especially if you're playing a game in 5 years, you're going to want to change up your playstyle at least a little bit, or else you're going to probably get kind of bored. So I'm glad they did that. So, a lot of the article was actually them defending their class system. A lot of people were asking them, like, you're pushing player freedom, why do you have a class system? And they keep saying they really want the class system because they think it sets, like, a nice base for your character to start off with. And, I mean, I don't really care about the class system because, I think it works, and I don't think it's bad. I wouldn't like it if it was, like, there's a tank class, like a DPS class, and, like, a healer class. But I don't mind the way they have it set it up, so I'm not against the class system. I know a lot of people would rather if it was like had no classes at all, but I get why they did it like they did, and I think they're right, especially for new players. Like class is a nice start, and kind of give you a little bit of a guide to how you should start off playing at least. So let's talk about Morph. So as you guys all know, once you get a skill to a certain point, you can morph it and change how it works. And I was under the impression that you could do this a lot, like there were going to be multiple morphs for each skill, but each skill only has one morph. So there's only going to be one way to change each skill, which I mean isn't bad, but I really thought there was going to be more than one morph for each skill, but that's actually not the case. So let's they did mention that you will be able to max out all of your skills, so you could like have every single skill in the game. And they're not saying it's going to be easy, but one person just asked if you could do it, and they said it was possible. But I mean, in order to do that, you would have to play a lot. So I mean, I know some people like to play as like sort of a jack of all trades and really just play like, I don't know, as like a tank and like stealth sometimes and just really be able to do anything they want. And it's cool that you will be able to do that if you spend enough time in the game. It definitely shouldn't be something that just comes easily and is just easily attainable, so I'm glad they did it the way they did. One thing they said is that they plan to add more skill lines, which is really cool. They'll obviously add that as part of the subscription fee, and they said that you can find them throughout the world, so this is cool. And that sounds a lot like the werewolf and vampirism skill lines that you actually have to find. It's not like you just get them automatically, and that's cool. I would almost even like if they like didn't share with you that it came out, like so you're just exploring one day and you find a new skill line. I think that's really cool. And it's just cool that they're going to be, adding new skills as the game goes on. So other than that, that's pretty much all that they mentioned that was really important. Other than the fact that, like, XP for crafting is going to be called Inspiration, and for guilds, like, for guild skill lines, it's going to be called Influence. So that's just, that's just a small thing. It's the same thing, it's just a different name. I kind of like Inspiration for crafting. I think that's kind of funny. So also there's going to be sort of a soft cap on your health and stamina and magicka. So the more and more you invest in like health, let's say, each time you spend one of your points to increase your health, you're going to get less and less health. So eventually it's going to be it's going to get harder and harder to increase your health. So maybe instead of putting a point in health, it would be more beneficial to put it in stamina. So that's kind of I don't mind that. I mean, all Elder Scrolls games had some sort of cap to either how much armor you could have on, and this one is just how much health you can have. So I don't mind that at all. They did mention in an interview that wasn't in the Ask Us Anything, that they talked a little bit about adventure zones, where they have like not even said anything about in like the last couple of months, and I know some PvEers are pretty mad about that. But the adventure zones, they said you can play with up to 12 people in those. And those are like raids and dungeons, in case you guys don't know what those are. They previously said 24 players, but I guess now it's just 12. And getting 24 people together, unless you have a guild, that is really hard. But so 12 players, I don't mind that, but I could see some PvEers being mad about that. So other than that, they came out with a new Tamriel Chronicle this week. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it has like fan-made stuff. So they have fan-made art, fan-made music. They mentioned some podcasts and some videos that people make. I really like listening to music. I think the people do a really good job with that. Other than that, one thing they shared is that there's this new Talos limited edition sculpture that's for sale. I'll put a link in the description and a picture on the screen, and you guys can see it's really beautiful. And I wish I had I don't know how much it is. I think it's like almost 200. I wish I had that kind of money just to spend on it, but I don't. But it is really cool. So if you have the money, that'd be a cool thing to own. Yeah, so it's like collectible, it's limited edition, so I thought I'd just share that with you guys. So now let's get into the developer question of the week.
Hi, my name is John Solari, and I'm a QA lead at ZeniMax Online Studios. This is your question of the week. You and your allies are prepared to lay siege to a heavily defended keep. You have at your disposal plenty of siege equipment. Which would you prefer to operate? A trebuchet, a ram, a catapult, or a ballista? What's your plan? Do you weaken the keep walls, attack the doors, or focus fire the defending archers?
So it's actually really funny they asked this because I just did a video on siege weapons. It actually played in really well with the video I did. But as far as which one I would use, I'm definitely excited to use the trebuchet. I think that's looking really cool. I think it's kind of the cool version of a catapult, kind of. I don't know, I just really like the swinging animation. But as far as how I would take a keep, I'd definitely blast a hole in the wall. Just I think that'd be really more surprising than opening up the door. So I'd blast a hole in the wall and have like 200 people storm in. I think that would work really well. Other than trebuchet, I really look forward to using the ballista. Other than that, probably the battering ram. I just think it'd be cool to knock through a door, but I don't know, the catapult would be cool. Honestly, they're like siege weapons. I mean, they're all really awesome, but I see the battering ram being the least popular of all of them. But I don't know. So tell me in the comments what you guys think, and yeah, every podcast I'll be answering the developer question of the week. So also in terms of answering questions, I was trying to get questions for people to ask me this week, but I couldn't get any. But from now on, I'm going to try to answer at least, like, I don't know, 3 questions every episode. So if you guys have any questions about Elder Scrolls Online, even if you guys think it's stupid or like small, I mean, honestly, I'm fine answering it, and I'd really be happy to, because it gives me something to talk about on my podcast. So you can just type the question in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to answer it. Like I said, it can be about anything. It can be about Elder Scrolls Online. It could even just be about, I don't know, anything really. Just, just ask it, and I'll make sure I answer it. It's a small channel, so if you ask a question, it's definitely going to get answered. So that pretty much does it for the first Elder Scrolls Online Saturday. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys had a good time. So again, in the comments, just give me questions for next week's, things you want me to cover, things you want me to talk about. Just anything. Give me some criticism. Tell me if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, you can tell me that. Really, just, if you did like it, it'd be awesome if you could give it a like, and if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, I'm a small channel, so feel free to contact me. I'm really just happy to talk about anything, so just stay close, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.